Have you ever stopped to think about how the smallest decisions we make every single day reveal the deepest truths about who we are? Today, I'm going to present you with a question that might seem simple at first glance, but believe me, your answer will unlock secrets about your mindset, your values, your confidence, and your priorities that you may have never consciously acknowledged. Look at the image carefully. You're sitting on a bus or train. There's only one seat available, and you're occupying it. Suddenly, 4 people appear before you, and each one desperately needs that seat. But remember, there's only one seat, and you must make a choice. Who do you give it to first? Let me introduce you to these 4 individuals. Person A is a pregnant woman or mother holding a baby in her arms. She looks tired, her face etched with the exhaustion that comes from carrying new life or caring for an infant. Person B is an elderly woman, her back bent with age, her steps slow and uncertain. The weight of decades rests on her fragile shoulders. Person C is a man with a broken leg, leaning heavily on crutches. Every movement causes invisible pain, and standing for even a few minutes would be agonizing. Person D is a blind man, tapping his white cane ahead of him, navigating a world he cannot see, vulnerable and dependent on the kindness of strangers. 4 people, 4 different types of vulnerability, 4 different stories, but only one seat. This isn't just a hypothetical scenario. It's a window into your soul. Your instinctive choice in this moment reveals more about your character than 1,000 personality tests ever could. It shows what you value most when forced to make an impossible decision. It demonstrates your capacity for empathy, your moral framework, and the principles that guide your life. The psychology behind moral dilemmas. Before we dive deep into what each choice means, let's understand why scenarios like this are so powerful. Psychologists have long used moral dilemmas to study human behavior, decision-making, and ethical frameworks. Perhaps the most famous example is the trolley problem, first introduced by philosopher Philippa Foot in 1967. These thought experiments strip away the complexity of everyday life and force us to confront our core values. When we're faced with an impossible choice where every option has merit and no option is perfect, our true priorities emerge. There's no time for overthinking, no opportunity to please everyone, no way to avoid responsibility. In this seat scenario, you're not just choosing who to help, you're revealing your worldview. Do you prioritize the future, the past, immediate suffering, or long-term challenges? Your empathy pattern. Which type of vulnerability moves you most deeply? Your confidence. Are you secure enough in your choice to stand by it despite criticism? Your values. What do you believe society should protect first? Your priorities. When everything matters, what matters most? Now, let's explore what each choice says about you. Choice A, the mother with a baby. I would give my seat to the pregnant woman or mother with a baby. If this was your instinctive choice, congratulations, you are what psychologists call a future-oriented nurturer. Your personality is built around protecting potential, safeguarding innocence, and ensuring that the next generation has the best possible chance to thrive. Your core personality traits. 1. Protective instinct. You have a deeply ingrained protective instinct that extends beyond your immediate family. When you see vulnerability combined with innocence, like a pregnant woman or a baby, something fundamental activates within you. This isn't weakness, it's a sign of evolutionary wisdom. Societies that prioritize mothers and children are societies that survive and flourish. 2. Future-focused thinking. Your brain naturally projects forward. You don't just see a tired woman or a crying baby. You see potential, possibility, and promise. You understand that protecting a pregnant woman means protecting 2 lives, the mother and the unborn child. You recognize that helping a mother with a baby ensures the infant has a better chance at a healthy, stable beginning. 3. Optimistic worldview. People who choose tend to be optimists. You believe in tomorrow. You believe that investing in the young is investing in a better world. Even when current circumstances are challenging, you maintain hope because you see the possibility of renewal in every new generation. 4. Empathy for dual vulnerability. You're moved by the unique vulnerability of motherhood, a state where one person is responsible for another completely helpless being. This dual vulnerability activates your empathy in a way that single-person suffering might not. You understand that when you help a mother, you're actually helping 2 people simultaneously. Your mindset is characterized by growth orientation. You believe in cycles of renewal, in the power of new beginnings, and in the responsibility we all share to ensure the next generation inherits a world worth living in. You're likely the type of person who invests time in mentoring younger colleagues or family members, gets excited about children's potential, and education, feels deep satisfaction when seeing young people succeed, believes strongly in paying it forward. Your confidence level. Your confidence manifests as quiet certainty. You don't need to justify your choice because you believe protecting mothers and children is a universal value that transcends culture, religion, and philosophy. You're confident that most people would understand and support your decision, which gives you peace of mind. However, you may sometimes struggle with guilt when you cannot help everyone. You understand that choosing means not choosing B, C, or D, and this can weigh on your conscience. Your values. Your core values center on life and creation. You value the miracle of life and the sacred responsibility of bringing new humans into the world innocence. You believe those who cannot defend themselves deserve priority, protection, continuity. You value the continuation of society and the human story of maternal sacrifice. You recognize and honor the incredible sacrifice mothers make. Your priorities. When faced with competing needs, you prioritize the most vulnerable, infants and unborn children, those responsible for protecting others, mothers, the future over the past, potential over history. Potential challenges. While your choice reflects beautiful values, you may sometimes feel overwhelmed by all the world's suffering, especially children suffering struggle with work-life balance because you over-prioritize family, have difficulty saying no to requests involving children, or families experience compassion fatigue from caring so deeply. Your likely career paths. People who choose they often excel in pediatrics, teaching, social work, childcare, obstetrics, family counseling, non-profit work focused on children, families, or any field that directly impacts young people's welfare. Choice B, the elderly woman. I would give my seat to the elderly woman. If you chose B, you are what we call a respectful traditionalist. Your personality is built on foundations of honor, respect for those who came before, and a deep understanding of the debt we owe to previous generations. Your core personality traits. 1. Deep respect for experience and age. You understand that elderly people have lived full lives, contributed to society, and now deserve dignity and comfort in their final years. You see the elderly woman not just as someone who needs a seat, but as someone who has earned that seat through decades of living, working, and contributing. 2. Historical consciousness. You have a strong sense of history and continuity. You recognize that the elderly are living links to the past, carriers of wisdom and experience that cannot be found in books. When you look at an elderly person, you see decades of stories, struggles, and survival. 3. Gratitude and reciprocity. Your worldview is shaped by gratitude. You understand that the world you inherited was built by previous generations. The infrastructure, the institutions, the knowledge, all of it came from those who are now old. Helping elderly people is, to you, a form of paying back an enormous debt. 4. Empathy for physical fragility. You're acutely aware that aging bodies are fragile. What might be a minor inconvenience for a young person, standing for 15 minutes, could be genuinely dangerous for someone elderly. You understand that broken hips, fainting, and other age-related vulnerabilities make public transportation particularly hazardous for the aged. Your mindset is characterized by honor and duty. You believe in respecting elders as a fundamental principle of civilized society, their importance of tradition, and continuity to the value of wisdom that comes only with age, and moral obligation to care for those who cared for society when they were young. You're likely the type of person who values family traditions and maintains them, carefully listens attentively to stories from older relatives, feels genuine reverence for historical figures and ancestors, believes society has lost something important by not valuing elders as much as previous cultures did. Your confidence level. Your confidence is principled and unwavering. You know that many modern societies have unfortunately devalued the elderly, often prioritizing youth and productivity over wisdom and experience. But you stand firm in your conviction that respect for elders is non-negotiable. You're confident in your choice because it's rooted in timeless values that have sustained human societies for millennia. You may even feel a sense of moral superiority over those who don't share this value, though you try to temper this feeling. Your values. Your core values include respect. Above all, You value showing proper respect to those who have earned it. Tradition. You believe tried and true values have endured for good reasons. Dignity. You believe every human deserves dignity, especially in vulnerability to reciprocity. You believe in the principle of what goes around comes around. Your priorities. When forced to choose, you prioritize those who have contributed the most to society over their lifetime. Respect and honor over sympathy or pity. The wisdom of the past as guidance for the future. Establish social contracts and intergenerational obligations. Potential challenges. Your admirable values may sometimes lead to appearing old-fashioned or resistant to change. Difficulty adapting when traditions become obsolete or harmful. Conflict with younger generations who don't share your reverence for age. Struggling with rapid social change that seems to discard valuable traditions. Your likely career paths. People who choose be often thrive in geriatric medicine, elder care, historical preservation, teaching, law, especially areas involving wills and estates, religious leadership, or any field that honors tradition and values accumulated wisdom. Choice C. The man with a broken leg. I would give my seat to the injured man on crutches. If C was your choice, you are what psychologists call a pragmatic problem solver. Your personality is grounded in logical assessment, practical empathy, and an ability to objectively evaluate who needs help most urgently based on immediate circumstances. Your core personality traits. 1. Practical and logical thinking. You assess situations based on observable facts rather than emotional appeals or abstract principles. You see a man on crutches and immediately calculate, this person is in acute physical pain right now. Standing is literally injurious to him, and the relief of sitting will provide immediate, measurable benefit. 2. Focus on immediate suffering. Unlike those who choose based on future potential A or past contribution B, you focus intensely on present suffering. The man with a broken leg is suffering right now, and you can alleviate that suffering right now. This direct cause and effect appeals to your action-oriented nature. 3. Merit-based decision-making. You tend to make decisions based on objective criteria rather than emotional or cultural factors. The injury is visible, measurable, and temporary. The need is clear and unambiguous. There's no guessing involved, unlike assessing how tired a pregnant woman is or how frail an elderly woman might be. 4. Results-oriented mindset. You're the type of person who wants to see tangible results from your actions. When you give your seat to the injured man, you can literally see his relief, watch him carefully lower himself down, and witness the immediate improvement in his condition. This concrete feedback satisfies your need for effectiveness. Your mindset. Your mindset is characterized by efficiency and impact. You believe in solving problems systematically and effectively, making decisions based on data and observable facts, prioritizing based on urgency and severity, taking action that produces clear, measurable results. You're likely the type of person who excels in crisis situations that require quick, logical thinking, gets frustrated with overly emotional or abstract discussions, prefers concrete solutions to philosophical debates, values competence and effectiveness highly. Your confidence level. Your confidence comes from rational justification. You can explain your choice with clear logic. The man has an acute injury that makes standing painful and potentially dangerous to his recovery. His need is temporary but urgent. The seat provides immediate, substantial relief. You're confident because your choice isn't based on subjective emotional reactions. It's based on objective assessment of need. You can defend your decision to anyone using pure logic. Your values. Your core values include rationality. You value logical thinking and evidence-based decisions. Efficiency. You believe in maximizing positive impact with available resources. Fairness. You believe help should go to those who objectively need it most. Pragmatism. You value practical solutions over idealistic gestures. Your priorities. When making decisions, you prioritize immediate, acute suffering over chronic or potential suffering, measurable need over subjective need, temporary crises over permanent conditions, clear cause and effect interventions. Potential challenges. Your logical approach, while valuable, may sometimes make you appear cold or unfeeling to more emotional people, cause you to overlook important emotional or cultural factors, lead to analysis paralysis when no objectively best answer exists, create conflict with those who make decisions based on values rather than logic. Your likely career paths. People who choose C often excel in emergency medicine, engineering, project management, logistics, emergency response, analytics, operations management, or any field that requires quick, logical problem-solving under pressure. Choice D, the blind man. I would give my seat to the blind man. If D was your instinctive choice, you are what we call a deep empathist with social justice awareness. Your personality is characterized by profound compassion for those facing permanent challenges and a keen awareness of systemic disadvantages. Your core personality traits. 1. Profound empathy for invisible struggles. You possess a rare ability to empathize with struggles that aren't immediately obvious to others. While a broken leg is visible and temporary, blindness is permanent and comes with countless daily challenges most people never consider. You see beyond the immediate moment to the entire life experience. 2. Awareness of systemic disadvantage. You understand that disabled individuals face not just physical challenges, but societal barriers. The blind man doesn't just need a seat. He navigates a world designed for sighted people, faces employment discrimination, and deals with constant vulnerability that others can't imagine. Your choice reflects awareness of these broader injustices. 3. Long-term compassion. Unlike the pragmatist who focuses on immediate suffering, you consider long-term, ongoing challenges. The pregnant woman will eventually give birth. The elderly woman may have good days and bad days. The injured man will heal. But the blind man's challenge is permanent and unrelenting. 4. Moral courage. Choosing the blind man often requires moral courage because society sometimes judges his choice as less obvious than helping a pregnant woman or elderly person. You're willing to make the choice that feels right to you, even if others might question it. Your mindset. Your mindset is characterized by inclusive compassion and social awareness. You believe in advocating for those society often overlooks, recognizing that visible suffering isn't the only suffering that matters, understanding privilege and disadvantage in systemic terms, valuing equity over equality, giving more help to those who face greater barriers. You're likely the type of person who notices accessibility issues that others walk past without seeing, thinks deeply about social justice and systemic inequality, feel protective of marginalized or vulnerable groups, question societal assumptions about who deserves help. Your confidence level. Your confidence is quiet but resolute. You know that many people might choose A or B first, and you're prepared to explain your reasoning. Your confidence comes from deep self-reflection and a strong personal moral compass. You don't need external validation because you've thought carefully about what truly matters. You're confident that treating people with permanent disabilities with dignity and priority is the right thing to do, even if society doesn't always agree. Your values. Your core values include equity. You believe those facing greater challenges deserve greater support, inclusion. You value creating a world where everyone can participate full of dignity. You believe disability doesn't diminish human worth, justice. You're motivated by fairness and correcting systemic imbalances. Your priorities. When making decisions, you prioritize those facing permanent challenges over temporary difficulties, those often overlooked by society long-term, systemic issues over immediate, visible problems, creating precedent for inclusive, equitable treatment. Potential challenges. Your deep empathy and social consciousness may sometimes lead to emotional exhaustion from caring deeply about many causes, create feelings of powerlessness when facing large systemic problems, result in others perceiving you as overly political or woke, cause internal conflict when competing social justice issues clash. Your likely career paths. People who choose D often find fulfillment in disability advocacy, social work, civil rights law, accessibility consulting, special education, nonprofit leadership, community organizing, or any field focused on equity and inclusion. The deeper truth, there is no wrong answer. Now that we've explored all 4 choices, here's a profound truth that this exercise reveals. There is no wrong answer. Each choice reflects a different but equally valid value system. Each choice demonstrates empathy, compassion, and moral reasoning, just expressed through different priorities. If you struggle to choose, that's not weakness. That's evidence of your moral complexity and your ability to see multiple perspectives simultaneously. The people who find this choice easiest are often those with the clearest, though not necessarily best, value hierarchies. What if you couldn't choose? Some people, when faced with this scenario, say, I would give up my seat and stand, so all 4 could have somewhere to rest, and I'd help rotate who sits when. This response reveals creative problem solving. You refuse to accept constraints and look for alternative solutions, extreme selflessness. You prioritize others' comfort over your own egalitarian values. You believe everyone deserves equal consideration, potential people-pleasing tendencies. You may struggle with boundaries and self-care. What if you choose none? Occasionally, someone says, I keep my seat because I paid my fare and have every right to it. This isn't necessarily selfishness. It might reflect boundary awareness. You understand you can't help everyone and have learned to protect your own well-being, resentment from past experiences. Perhaps you've been taken advantage of before, contrarian thinking. You resist social pressure to conform to expected behaviors, burnout, or compassion fatigue. You may be emotionally exhausted from caring for others. Conclusion: the power of self-awareness. This simple thought experiment, one seat, 4 people, one impossible choice, is more than just a personality quiz. It's a mirror that reflects your deepest values back to you. Understanding why you made your choice helps you. 1. Recognize your strengths. Each choice represents a beautiful strength, whether it's nurturing protectiveness, respectful honor, practical logic, or inclusive compassion. 2. Understand your blind spots. The choices you didn't make reveal values you might underemphasize. If you didn't choose the elderly woman, do you sufficiently honor those who came before? If you didn't choose the blind man, are you aware enough of invisible disabilities? 3. Develop more complete empathy. The goal isn't to change your instinctive choice, but to develop appreciation for why others might choose differently. This builds bridges and reduces judgment. 4. Align your life with your values. If you chose to help the mother but spend all your time at work and never see your family, there's a disconnect. If you chose the elderly but never visit your grandparents, your actions don't match your values. 5. Practice moral courage. Whatever you chose, own it proudly. Your values matter. Your moral reasoning has merit. Don't let others shame you for caring deeply about what matters to you. Remember, the person who gives their seat to any of these 4 people is a good person. The world needs people who protect mothers and children, people who honor the elderly, people who solve immediate problems practically, and people who advocate for those facing permanent disadvantages. The world needs all of us, with all our different priorities and values, working together to create a society where eventually there are enough seats for everyone who needs one. So, what's your choice? And more importantly, what will you do with this new understanding of yourself?